Well, hey there, folks. I'm meteorologist Alex Harrington with the First Warn Weather Team here, giving an opportunity for you folks to do a Q&A. Gary was mentioning at the end of the 6 o'clock show when we wanted to give you folks a few minutes to get settled. Maybe you're eating dinner here and you got your laptop, your phone, and you might want to have some questions about our impactful winter weather event that is just hours away from southern Wisconsin. As you think about your questions here, folks, I'm going to go through some of the nuts and bolts here of perhaps maybe this is the first opportunity you've had getting home from work or from school to get some of this latest information. We're expecting alert day conditions to develop across all of southern Wisconsin for 6 to 10 inch snowfall, widespread, pretty much all of southern Wisconsin, and there could be some isolated higher amounts as well. And this is for tonight, later this evening, going on through early Wednesday morning with the residual impacts of gusty winds, even though the snow will be ending. Winter storm warnings will take effect as we carry on into the overnight, and then Tuesday going into your Tuesday evening is when winter storm warnings are in effect across the area. We also have a winter weather advisory for south central and portions of southeastern Wisconsin this evening from 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. This is for the initial part of the storm, the light snow that starts before the heavier snow begins. As we go on into your Tuesday, they will be replaced with the winter storm warnings once the heavier snow and the winter storm warning conditions develop across the area. I'll explain what those impacts are in just a moment. But I want to just briefly mention that there's the winter weather advisory this evening going into the beginning of your Tuesday, and then it's replaced with that winter storm warning. It might be a good question for you to ask why that is. I have an answer for that. This is what we're up against here in terms of snowfall totals, expecting widespread again, 6 to 10 inches with the highest amounts. Right now, the First Warn Weather Team, we're thinking over southwestern Wisconsin. This would be for communities like Platteville, Mineral Point, Dodgeville, Darlington, Monroe, maybe Belleville and Verona, really close to Madison. There could be some wobbling a little bit yet of the heavier snow amounts. We're pretty solid that this is what is going to occur across the area. So I said, let me explain the impacts here. The snow starts tonight. It's going to start here, and we're going to track that in just a second. It starts within the next couple of hours. That's why we have that winter weather advisory in effect, because it won't start off heavy right away. But as we go into your Tuesday, that's when the snow will really ramp up. Then we get the winds as well, gusting to 30 to 35 miles per hour. Could be isolated gusts up to 40 miles per hour. And that's really when the winter storm warning conditions go into effect. That's why we had the difference there from the advisory to the warning. I guess I just kind of answered that question if it may have been on your mind. Difficult driving conditions though through the whole event. It takes little snow to cause slick spots, and then we're going to have a lot of snow, and we're going to have wind to deal with as we go on into your Tuesday afternoon, and difficult driving will last also into your Wednesday. Silver lining is, at least with this weather system, not looking at very cold conditions. So that's my recap there, folks. Let me take a look here and see if you have any questions coming in here on Facebook. I have my just another view over here on Facebook. I don't see any questions yet. I appreciate the folks with the emojis for dialing in here. You're absolutely welcome to ask me questions. I will take us back to in history. First Warn Weather Team, we started seeing indications of this weather system around just before the new year. On December 30th is when we started talking about this impactful winter storm. Weather models are very consistent that it looked like something was coming. And then as we marched into this past week, I actually did a Beyond the Barometer talking about, well, we were looking at this snowstorm coming, and then weather models are starting to trend that weather system back to the south. I mentioned in the Beyond the Barometer and also on my personal meteorologist Alex Harrington Facebook page, that is totally normal, especially in with the first big winter storms that you get out of the year, especially when there's not a lot of cold across the Midwest, there's not a lot of snow across the Midwest. It's not uncommon, I should say, for then as you get closer to the event, that the weather models start to march their way back to the north. And that is exactly what we have seen. All right, now we're starting to get some questions here. Thank you for the questions. That's what this Q&A is for. So just kind of sit back, take in the information, and feel free to ask me questions. Any chance of getting lower totals? Of course, there's always that possibility, but we're really confident at this point in time. We're just a few hours before this weather event starts, and it would be really unusual for our weather models to suddenly say, nope, it's not going to happen. So I'm really confident, and that's a good question. Are we going to get lower totals? We're pretty confident here in the First Warn Weather team that this is going to be a solid 6-inch plus event, very likely seeing 8, 9, maybe some isolated 10-inch amounts. And in southwestern Wisconsin, we could be looking at some isolated higher amounts as well. Folks saying that they're ready and prepared. And again, this is another opportunity for our team to get you this information, but we're a few hours away. So if you got to head out to maybe grab some food or some provisions, perhaps you want to go get a refill on those medications, this would be the time to do that. I'm actually going to show a couple of slides here on some suggestions that I have for you folks. And I grew up here in Wisconsin. I grew up in Arena, Wisconsin. I know we've been through this before, but it's always nice to have those reminders here. So just a couple of things to think about. I even had to think about this one myself with my car. I have a Prius vehicle, and it's great for gas mileage. Sometimes it has some challenges with the snow, but it's a good car. Things to think about: have that shovel ice scraper ready. Have some kitty litter in case you get in a sticky spot and you need some traction to get going. Always good to have some extra clothes, blanket, and here's a good one: a phone charger. So I have a portable phone charger that I've been charging up so that way I can actually hook it up to my phone and it gives me that charge. So now's the time to really start thinking about, do I have that extra portable phone charger all charged up? And another important point is, if you have to travel at all on Tuesday going into your Wednesday morning, always good to let the person at the end of your destination know that you're on your way so that they can help keep track as well. And then also at home, some things to think about. This on social media. This is my personal social media. Meteorologist Alex Harrington. Somebody had commented, "Well, hey, I need to get the gas for my snowblower." Yeah, this might be that opportunity to go to the gas station and get some gas there for that snowblower. If we can just stop here, we're doing a live event. Thank you, appreciate it. Newsroom, all the life in the newsroom carries on here. So I want to take some opportunity to express here, folks, that now's the time to take an opportunity to prepare. Speaking of preparation, I want to say that this is not the only storm that's on the horizon that the First Warn Weather team have been talking about. So we've got this impactful weather system tonight going into Tuesday, going into your Tuesday night. And then we have a little weather system Wednesday night going on into your Thursday, where we might have another inch or two. And that could cause some impacts on that Thursday morning commute. We're also eyeing up the possibility of yet another full-fledged winter storm Thursday night going on into Friday, into your Saturday. Let me just go back to Facebook here because this is the Q&A time. So I want to make sure we're answering the questions. So one that's popping up here: do you think a blizzard warning could be issued due to the wind gusts? At this point in time, we had this conversation actually with our National Weather Service. The answer to that question right now is no, but definitely be staying tuned to channel3000.com, our First Warn Weather app on your phone, our Facebook page. If we get any indication that we start to think that the sustained winds, because that's really the piece with this weather system, will have the heavy snow, but the sustained winds need to be at 35 miles per hour or greater for a few hour period of time for blizzard warnings to be issued. So something we're certainly talking about with our colleagues in the weather community. So that's a very good question. But at this point in time, winter storm warnings at this point is where we think the highest level that this storm will reach. What will Friday bring? It's a very, very good question. I'm going to actually go back here and change up some of my graphics just so that we can talk a little bit about Friday. I'm going to put this here. And that's a wonderful question because it gives me an opportunity to also talk about what's after Friday, okay? So we have our impactful weather system on Tuesday going into your Wednesday morning. We are putting an alert day out there for the expectation of the potential of accumulating snow and strong winds again starting Thursday night going on into your Friday. That could last into your Saturday morning. Weather models, which we use to help predict these winter storms, have been doing more wobbling with this Friday system than what they have been doing with the current system that will be impacting us over the next 24 to 36 hours. So it's a little tough to pinpoint amounts on this one because the weather system is really kind of wobbling back and forth. But we're confident enough to tell you what will Friday bring. It looks like the likelihood of more strong winds and more accumulating snow, and that snow is going to be of a different variety. It's going to be that powdery snow that blows around a lot more. So that is the information right now that I can share with you. As we get perhaps into tomorrow, we might start thinking about talking about totals if we can get a little more confidence in that Friday system on what it's going to do. Again, 10 days ago, we were really confident in this storm, and the weather models have done a fantastic job up to this point. So the Friday system, weather models are kind of struggling with it. And part of the reason why they struggle as well, we're going to have a steep snowpack across the Midwest. And when the weather models don't have that in their system, it can make the track a little bit off. So that's something, again, as I was mentioning earlier, we didn't have the snow, we didn't have the cold, so weather models are doing a pretty decent job of capturing this weather system. That Friday system, the weather models are going to have to try to figure out, now there's snow on the ground. How do we do our calculations in these computer models? I'm going to go back here to your weather questions. These are great. I hope it wobbles down. And do your models indicate what time Wednesday roads might be good morning commute? That's a wonderful question. Let's track that together. Just one second. I got to get to that on my computer here. I have my computer that kind of does everything, but I'm trying to multitask. There we go. Let's see what we can do here. One moment. Hold on here. We can track this all together with the Future Track model. So let's start off here. Snow timing around 8, 9 o'clock over southwestern Wisconsin. We'll get to your question here in just a second, though. With, there we go. Snow overspreads the area as we go on into your Tuesday. Widespread snow, perhaps some heavy snow over southwestern Wisconsin. That heavy snow overspreads the rest of southern Wisconsin during the middle and later part of the day. And your question is, when can we start to see road conditions start to improve as we go into your Wednesday? Still snowing Tuesday night. Then as we get into the wee hours of your morning, and by the time we get to the commute on your Wednesday morning time frame, the snow will be ending. My observation of this is roads, we're still probably going to have some of those secondary roads, those back roads that may not have had an opportunity to get a good plow or at least a couple of plows. Some of the the interstates, the well-traveled roads probably will be better kept up. As we march further into your Wednesday morning, when there's better opportunity for those snowplows to get to those secondary roads, those back roads, and I grew up in the country, I grew up just outside of Arena, I get it. I anticipate those roads will improve as we get a little bit further into the morning hours of your Wednesday to answer that question. Hopefully that was a sufficient answer for you. Just going to do a little refresh here on my Facebook page, see what other questions you folks have, and I appreciate them popping in here. This gives us an opportunity for the conversation. And we already answered that question here. So let me just see if we have any other questions coming in right now. I don't see any new ones coming in. So let me do just a brief recap here for folks. Some folks may be just dialing in at this point in time. So we have our alert day conditions just about ready to start to take effect across southern Wisconsin as we speak right now. We have snow just starting to approach far southwestern Wisconsin, down towards Dubuque, down towards Darlington, down towards Platteville. This weather system is building across portions of central Iowa, extending along the I-80 corridor, and it's going to be moving towards the north. We can track that with Future Track radar. Platteville, Dubuque, Monroe, Janesville, Belleville, Mineral Point. You guys are going to see that snow here by the time we get to 9, 10 o'clock, and then it quickly spreads north of the I-94 corridor once we get into the wee hours of your Monday morning. Last recap here of our alert day expectations. We have alert day conditions that we expect to really start to evolve here over the course of the next couple of hours, and then it will be in its peak during the daytime on your Tuesday. Widespread 6 to 10 inches of snow. Some isolated higher amounts are possible with the impact starting tonight, lasting clear through your Wednesday morning. Even though the storm will be departing, to that viewer's question, we still will have gusty winds out there, which will still do some blowing and some drifting of that snow. Here we got some other questions here that are coming in. Do you think flights from Madison Airport will be canceled tomorrow? Distinct possibility. We're going to have snowfall rates coming down at a pretty decent clip. At some points, we're going to have that snow coming down at 1 inch per hour, and you know they got to blow that snow off the planes. So there very well could be some cancellations with airports. I also want to make, in Madison, I also want to make a comment too, winter storm warning for the Chicago area as well. So some of the larger airports are going to be impacted by this weather system as well. So great question. Coming from Spring Green, how early should I leave to drive to Madison tomorrow? Well, I would encourage you, if there's an opportunity to do anything remote tomorrow, I don't know if you have that as an option, that would be my recommendation. But if there is an opportunity, I don't know if you need to get to your destination for sure. Maybe there's an option of leaving now and heading to Madison now before the snow starts, because it will be on Highway 14 a pretty tough go of things with snow really all day and gusty winds. Very, very good question. All right, travel Friday evening and Saturday morning for Monroe, Wisconsin. So this is for the Friday event that I was mentioning, is the next big weather system that the First Warn Weather Team are expecting. So when can we expect conditions for Monroe down to our south to be impacted by that Friday weather system? I want to add too that I was discussing that Friday weather system has been kind of wobbling back and forth. Sometimes it gets southern Wisconsin, sometimes it's a little bit further to the south. With you down in Monroe, you have a little bit better of a chance by being snagged by that weather system as it looks like right now. My answer to your question is snow will start late Thursday night, snow will last all day Friday, and it will wrap up on your Saturday. So hopefully that answers your question for Monroe. First to warn about the next snowstorm. Some other, appreciate the thank you. This is that conversation between me and you. I want to make sure that's my most important thing, is making sure you get the information that you feel prepared. So I appreciate the thank yous, folks. Lots of questions coming in now. How many centimeters of snow will Clyde get? Well, we use the U.S. system, not the metric system, but I know where Clyde is. I used to actually do a camp in Clyde. You're probably going to be looking at that solid 6 to 10 inches in that part of southwestern Wisconsin. Great question. So what about 3 a.m. travel time tomorrow in Rock County? Let's go back here. And we'll stay live here for a few more moments as we get more questions in. Word of mouth, we're doing a live event here. Folks are probably dialing in to say, hey, I want to get my question answered too. And I have a computer over here that's kind of running the graphics that I see then in front of me. So that's why I'm looking over here and then looking over there. So if we march forward here, I want to take us to about 1 o'clock in the morning. So Rock County, as you can probably see there, you're all in the blue. So you will be having snow at that point 1. And kind of march forward here just a little bit with there's 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe even some slightly higher snowfall rates entering Rock County as we get towards that 3 o'clock time frame. This is our future track model, and it is doing a fantastic job. It's been doing a great job capturing this weather system for the better part of 10 days. Let's see if we have any other questions. How many inches of snow are predicted for Friday? That is a good one. It's tough to pinpoint, to be perfectly honest, and here's the answer why. And I know folks are, well, you watch these weather models and you can just kind of change your totals. Well, First Warn Weather Team, we are all certified meteorologists. We go to school for this with rigorous forecasting classes, and we have a really strong understanding of weather models. And I bring this up because the Friday weather system is more variable, meaning the track is going north, it's going south. And when we see that, we don't have the confidence to put out certain totals. But I will say we're confident enough that that weather system looks like if it tracks far enough to the north, it could be an impactful weather event similar to this one with several inches of snow accumulation to hopefully answer that question. Why does the amount of the snow we have affect the weather models? That is a wonderful question. So weather models are built with all sorts of parameters. And what I mean by parameters, variables. What is a variable? The ground, the surface is a variable that goes into helping these weather models calculate what's going on from the ground through all the layers of the atmosphere, all the way to the top of the atmosphere, and takes in data observation. And think about hitting the enter button on your keyboard, and then it extrapolates out to the future. Hypothetically, you can go out as far as you want, out indefinitely. Weather models do have a tendency to do better in the short term because the data that's in the system at that point in time is the latest and greatest data. But to keep answering that question, when weather models don't know that there's snow on the ground, then you're missing an important variable to help the calculations. So those weather models need to ensure that it understands that there's snow at the surface to help make a good prediction. That is why we were mentioning earlier this week as part of the Beyond the Barometer series that these early winter storms, when we don't have any snow really in the Midwest, the cold air really is not well entrenched because we've been in an El Nino weather pattern, that it's totally common for weather models to say, hey, we're going to trend to the south. And then it trends their way back north because, again, it's missing some of those important variables that it needs to make an accurate forecast. Let's see if we have some more questions. Is the snow on Friday? I appreciate folks are thinking, well, we know this storm is coming for tonight, Tuesday, going into Wednesday. Let's start thinking more about Friday here. Is the snow on Friday? Is the snow on Friday starting the night before or Friday morning? It's very possible the snow could start Thursday night, to answer that question. And we've been a lot of folks have been asking how much snow are we going to get on Friday. If the weather model tracks in an appropriate fashion, usually the storm track, favorable snow track for us is to have the center of low pressure move over near the Chicago area, and we're on the backside, so we get the snow just like what you're seeing here in the future track model, with Tuesday's storm tracking kind of through the Chicago area, just south of the Chicago area. If that track occurs, we would be looking at least several inches of snow and strong winds. So hopefully that answers that question. We're getting a lot of extra questions in here, folks. So I'm going to look over at one of our web people. I can keep doing this? Okay, for a little bit longer? All right. So if you got other questions here, folks, please feel free to ask them here as I see live on Facebook these questions pop in. It moves a little fast on my end, so sometimes I don't see them all, so I apologize if I'm not answering all of the questions that are popping through. And again, I appreciate the thank yous and so forth for doing this. I enjoy doing this because I like to have that conversation with the community about the weather. So how about we do this? I'll do one more recap here of what we're up against. We'll see if we have any other questions, and then we'll let you folks go to your evening and everyone get rested up before a big day tomorrow for us all in southern Wisconsin, because we all have to deal with the upcoming winter storms. So alert day conditions will start to develop as we carry on later into this evening. This is for all of southern Wisconsin, lasting through Tuesday night, and into Wednesday morning. Why Wednesday morning? We'll still have gusty winds, maybe still doing some of that blowing and drifting of snow, which could cause some impacts, particularly on those back roads, secondary roads that just don't get the snow removal when the attention really is on those main travel roads. Isolated higher mounts are certainly possible with this weather system. We've got a winter storm warning in effect all day Tuesday going on into Tuesday night. Could also be seeing wind gusts here, folks, of upwards of 30 to 35 miles per hour, perhaps upwards of 40 miles per hour in some isolated areas. And if you're out in the flatter terrains of southwestern Wisconsin, areas south of Madison, those winds can really ramp up because you don't have the hills and the trees and so forth to kind of die those winds down just a little bit. So impacts snow starting tonight, lasting through your Tuesday night. The wind ramps up, difficult driving through the entirety of this event. And one last moment here of this is where we're expecting to target at this point in time, the heavier snows over southwestern Wisconsin, 9+ inches, but look at that widespread 6, 9, 10 inches across really the entire area. Gary's going to be here for the shows for the rest of the night. You got Kelly in the morning, and at noon, Jacob and I are going to be popping in here late morning, early afternoon tomorrow. It's an all-out team effort. The whole team here is ready to provide you the best coverage in town here. And again, we were first to alert on this storm 10 days in advance, so we want to keep you all well prepared. One last plug here, and then one more question. Something else just dawned on me. Folks know when we tune in, we've been showing viewer photos. This is a great opportunity to educate you folks. Channel3000.com/weather. Scroll on down on the page and click the Post Your Own button. That allows you to upload a photo from your device. We'd love to see your snow photos. If it's safe to take them, that's most important, because this helps us to show what's going on with weather. And I know we might end up just getting a lot of snow pictures. Okay, we've seen snow in Wisconsin. But what this really does is this gears us up as I educate you on how to submit those photos, because when we have other impactful events like severe weather and tornadoes, these will be incredibly helpful tools for us to relay to the public exactly what's going on outside as we report it from the scientific standpoint with radar and graphics and so forth. So again, if you have the First Warn Weather app too, that's another way to send us those photos. All right. Again, thank you, folks. But no snow or rain tonight. Yes, we will have snow tonight. It'll start up here over the next couple of hours. There will not be rain with this weather system. It's an all-snow system. No real threat for freezing rain or rain unless you're heading way off to the east. If you have to travel at all, which I do not advise, Milwaukee, with the influence of the warm Lake Michigan waters, may have some a little bit of that mix there. So one last wording here, folks, and then we'll let you go here. I appreciate you dialing in and very much appreciate the questions and the time. Alert day conditions anticipated to begin here in just a couple of hours for all of southern Wisconsin. We're expecting 6 to 10 inches with isolated higher amounts tonight, lasting through your Wednesday morning. With that, folks, thanks again for tuning in. Be safe tomorrow, and we will be here to keep you up on the latest.